Everybody says Ollama is the safest, cheapest way to run AI locally. I spent 5 hard tests trying to prove them wrong. Ollama claims total privacy, real speed on modest hardware, and zero friction setup. So does it actually deliver, or is the reputation doing the heavy lifting? Claim 1, truly private and offline. The objection I keep hearing is that you run a sensitive prompt through what you think is a local model, and it routes to a data center anyway. Your legal docs, your internal code, your client data all hitting someone else's server. So I ran a packet capture to find out if that's actually happening with Ollama. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. I looked at the packet capture data across 3 different setups, and after the model download completes, network traffic drops to 0. Nothing leaves the machine. Cloud services like ChatGPT and Claude store your data for up to 30 days after deletion and may train on it, but the catch is right there on screen. Ollama v3 A12, and later added cloud models with a :cloud suffix that do route externally, so the privacy story now has an asterisk. This charge is dismissed. Local inference is genuinely private, and the packet capture backs it up, as long as you stick to local models and avoid anything with a :cloud suffix. That's one of 1 claims verified, and Ollama is the right call here, because the downside of getting this wrong with a cloud API is your sensitive data sitting on someone else's server for a month. I know that privacy asterisk because I hit it myself after an update and had to dig through the model list to figure out what was local and what wasn't. Drop a comment if that's caught you off guard too. Claim 2, cost versus cloud APIs. The number that gets thrown around a lot is roughly $250 a month for GPT-4o at 50,000 requests a day, versus basically electricity for local. But that math only works if you already own the hardware, and hardware costs real money up front. So I dug into where the actual break-even sits, and whether the savings are real or just a talking point. At 1,000 requests a day, cloud APIs run you $30 to $45 a month, while Ollama costs 0 marginal, nothing per request, and scale that to 50,000 requests a day, and cloud is roughly $2,150 a month versus electricity only for local. Though that local number assumes you already have hardware, which runs $500 to $10,000 or more upfront. So the math only flips in your favor once you've cleared that fixed cost. This charge is dismissed too. The cost savings are real and measurable at scale because once you own the hardware, you're paying electricity instead of a 4-figure monthly API bill. That's 2 of 2 claims verified, and Ollama is the right call for anyone running sustained workloads because that cloud bill compounds every single month. Claim 3, speed on modest hardware. The specific number Ollama's community puts out is around 30 tokens per second on an 8B model running on a Mac Mini M4 Pro, which sounds fine until you try to run a 32B model your GPU can't hold, and inference falls off a cliff the moment the model spills into CPU RAM. So I checked what the real speed floor looks like before that cliff. The M4 Pro hits roughly 30 tokens per second on the 8B model and around 20 tokens per second on the 13B, which is genuinely usable for daily work. I didn't find that sluggish at all. An RTX 4090 is about 2 to 3 times faster, but draws 350 to 450 watts, versus the M4 Pro's 30 to 40 watts, so the speed advantage comes at a serious power cost. And the biggest real-world risk is sizing a model too large and spilling into CPU RAM. This charge is dismissed. 20 to 30 tokens per second on a Mac Mini is fast enough for real daily use. And the power efficiency story versus a desktop GPU rig is actually pretty compelling. That's 3 of 3 claims verified, and Ollama's the right call here. Because the downside of an underpowered cloud alternative is latency. You can't control, and a bill that grows with every request. Alright, so 3 charges dismissed so far, but the next 2 are where things get uncomfortable. Ease of setup sounds obvious, but there's a real performance trade-off hiding in there, and Claim 5 is the one the community is actually upset about right now, and it could change how you think about everything we just looked at. Claim 4, ease of setup versus alternatives. The day you decide to run a local LLM and spend 45 minutes wrestling with Python environments and CUDA drivers just to get a first inference is the day most people give up and go back to the API. The LLM needs a full Python setup, llama.cp needs a compile step or a binary, and Ollama claims to beat all of that with one command, so I put that claim to the test. Running Ollama run llama 3 downloads the model and starts inference in seconds. No Python environment, no compile step, nothing to configure. Compared to VLLM's Python setup taking 10 or more minutes, or llama.cp needing a compile or binary, Ollama is genuinely the fastest path to a first inference, though direct llama.cpp runs about 10 to 20% faster once you're set up, so you're trading a small speed ceiling for a lot of convenience. This charge is dismissed. Ollama's one command setup is the real deal, and the 10 to 20% speed gap versus raw llama P is a trade-off most people will happily make for not spending an afternoon on configuration. That's 4 of 4 claims verified, and Ollama's the right call for getting started, because the downside of a harder setup is that most people just don't finish it. Claim 5, local first positioning. This is the one the community is actually angry about. Ollama built its entire reputation on keeping your data off the internet, and since early 2026, some models in the library route to Ollama's own data center hardware, not your machine. And there's also a $20 a month pro plan now. So the question is whether Ollama is still a local first tool or something else entirely. The part that got me is how easy it is to pick a cloud model by accident. Models with a cloud suffix like Qwen3 Coder 480B cloud route to Ollama's servers, not your machine. And there's no simple toggle to enforce strictly offline mode. The Pro plan at $20 a month gives you 50 times more cloud usage, which is a real business pivot, and users report that update checks still hit the network, even when you're running local models. This charge sticks. Ollama is genuinely shifting toward cloud, and the local first identity that made it the default pick now has a real asterisk on it. That's 4 of 5 claims holding up, and that's the number you came for. Ollama delivers on 4 out of 5 big promises, but the one that falls short is the one baked into its whole identity. Ollama genuinely shines in 4 specific places. 0 network traffic after model download, verified by packet capture. Marginal cost of 0 per request versus a 4-figure monthly cloud bill at 50,000 requests a day. One command setup that beats llama.cpp, VLLM, and LM Studio for getting started, and 20 to 30 tokens per second on a Mac Mini M4 Pro, which is fast enough for real daily work. And here's where Ollama falls short. Cloud models with the :cloud suffix route your data externally, with no warning and no simple way to block it. Update checks still hit the network even on local models. Hardware upfront is $500 to $10,000 or more, which is a real barrier versus 0 for a cloud API. And recent updates reportedly slowed some large models by up to 10 times in certain scenarios. 4 of 5 charges dismissed. Use Ollama if you need real privacy and real cost savings at scale, and skip it. Or pin an older version if you need a strict offline guarantee with 0 cloud asterisk, because local now has a cloud asterisk, and only you know if that asterisk breaks your use case. One thing the marketing doesn't mention: the moment a model spills from GPU VRAM into CPU RAM, inference speed can drop by 10 times or more, and Ollama gives you no in-app warning when that's happening. So you need to manually check that your model's quantized size fits your VRAM before you pull it, or you'll think the tool is broken when it's just undersized hardware. If the cloud versus local cost question is still on your mind, the next logical place to go is DeepSeek V4 should you switch. because DeepSeek is the model most people are actually reaching for when they want local performance that punches above its weight. And that video breaks down whether the switch is worth it.